Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we're unlocking a topic that, well, maybe sounds a bit niche at first, the global door accessories market.
Yeah, it doesn't immediately scream huge global indicator.
Exactly, but don't let that fool you. What we're actually digging into today is, believe it or not, a really enormous and steadily expanding industry.
Hmm,
It's definitely not just hinges and handles, it's like a fundamental barometer for global economic health, infrastructure development.
it really is. And what's fascinating, I think, is how something so common, something you probably touch dozens of times a day without even thinking about it,
Right.
gives us such clear signals about these huge economic shifts and, how society is changing.
Absolutely. So, our mission today for you is to basically sift through all the latest data, the research, and pull out the really important nuggets.
Kind of a shortcut.
Yeah, a shortcut to understanding how this market's doing, the key trends, and some really interesting regional differences. We want to show you how even like a doorknob tells a story about global modernization, changing tastes, aesthetics, functionality, all of that.
And we'll see how everything from, that simple handle to really advanced security systems reflects these massive investments and changing demands all over the world.
Okay, let's open the door then. The global overview, this market it's just immense. Back in 2021, it was valued at a staggering $132 billion.
Wow.
Already huge. Already huge. And it's not just growing steadily, it's on track to basically double.
Mhm.
By 2033, the forecast puts it near $246 billion. That's quite a climb.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's consistent. The sources point to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of over 5%, 5.286% to be exact, for the whole market.
Okay.
And when you look underneath that number, it's not random. It's really driven by, well, increasing investments in real estate, lots of renovation work happening, and just generally more construction activity worldwide.
Makes sense.
It's a foundational piece, really. You build something, you need doors and accessories.
Right. So if this, seemingly small sector is actually this significant, what does all this growth mean for, the places where we live and work, for the global economy as a whole? Let's maybe unpack the regional players first. Where is this growth really taking root?
Yeah, a good place to start. We can look at North America. It's what you'd call a more mature market, but it still holds a really substantial share.
Okay.
Back in 2021, it was worth about, let's see, $35.8 billion. And it's projected to grow pretty steadily to almost $62 billion by 2033.
So still significant growth, even if it's not maybe as explosive as some other regions.
Exactly. It shows consistent demand.
And I guess within North America, the U.S. is the main driver.
Predictably, yes. The U.S. market alone is expected to cross the $50 billion mark by 2033.
So what's pushing that growth in a market that's already quite developed? Is it just, more buildings going up?
Well, partly, but maybe not solely. In places like the U.S., it's not just about the volume of new construction. It's also about significant investment in upgrading what's already there.
Ah, right, renovations.
Exactly. Think about the huge renovation market, plus the whole trend towards smarter homes, integrated security, better access control.
And maybe just aesthetics, too. People wanting higher-end designs.
Absolutely. That plays a big role in both residential and commercial spaces. Canada and Mexico are also important contributors, of course, growing steadily too, maybe more tied to general infrastructure expansion.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So from those established North American markets, let's shift over to Europe. It sounds like there's a different but still significant story there.
Yeah, Europe shows very consistent growth as well. It's around $26.6 billion in 2021, and the estimate is for it to reach about $46.4 billion by 2033.
And who's leading the pack there?
Germany really stands out. It's projected to near $10.3 billion by 2033. What's interesting in Europe, I think, is how the market is shaped by this mix of new construction, which is often highly regulated,
Right.
and also a really strong emphasis on maintaining and modernizing older historical buildings.
Yeah, you see that. And the numbers show similar patterns across the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Sweden, all moving steadily upward.
They're all growing between roughly 4.2% and 5.1% CAGR.
So it really seems like Europe is investing in both, like preserving its architectural heritage and building for the future. And that obviously creates demand for door accessories.
Precisely. And it often speaks to a focus on maybe quality, durability, and Some has more sophisticated security, given the value of their existing buildings. You also see contributions from places like Switzerland, Denmark, Russia, Luxembourg, too.
Okay, now here's where things get really interesting, I think. Let's shift gears to the fastest growing areas, because the numbers here are pretty dramatic.
Yeah, this is where you see the explosive growth.
Asia Pacific, or APAC. It's currently the fastest growing region globally for door accessories. It jumped from roughly $49 billion in 2021, and it's set to hit an incredible $98 billion by 2033,
It's basically doubling.
doubling in just over a decade. That's phenomenal speed.
It really is. And it's largely fueled by just rapid urbanization, the expanding middle class across so many countries in that region.
Right. China, I assume, is a big part of that.
Oh, absolutely. China leads APAC. Its market is projected to hit almost $29 billion by 2033.
Hmm.
But, India is the one that really stands out here in terms of speed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, India's market is soaring. It was under $8 billion in 2021 and is projected to reach almost $17 billion by 2033. That gives it the highest regional CIGR, close to 6.7%.
Wow, nearly 7%. That's incredible growth for India.
It really highlights the scale of development happening there.
And it's not just China and India, right? The sources mention others too.
No, definitely not. Places like Singapore, countries across Southeast Asia, Taiwan,
Mm.
they're also seeing significant growth with KGRs over 6%.
So it's a broad regional trend.
It is. It's
Yeah.
not just building more. It's the sheer scale of modernization. These massive new urban centers popping up that need absolutely everything, including door accessories.
Right, millions of new homes, offices, shops.
Exactly. Even the more established economies like Japan, South Korea, Australia, they show stable growth, in the 4.5% to 5.8% range. But the real explosive momentum is in those developing economies.
Okay, let's keep moving geographically. South America, another region showing strong growth.
Definitely one to watch. Its market was valued around $8 billion in 2021, and it's set to almost double as well, to over $15.5 billion by 2033.
And who's the leader there?
Brazil is the clear frontrunner, projected to expand to over $6.4 billion by 2033. But what's particularly interesting in South America are countries like Argentina and Chile.
Why them specifically?
They actually show some of the highest regional growth rates. Argentina's CAGR is projected over 6.1%, Chile over 5.8%.
Ah, okay, so that suggests maybe significant new infrastructure projects happening there.
That's the likely driver, yeah. Both residential and commercial construction, trying to keep pace with urbanization and just general economic development. Colombia, Peru, the rest of South America are also contributing significantly with solid growth.
Got it. Okay, next stop, the Middle East. Also a compelling growth story, I gather.
Yes, quite compelling. Their market was about $7 billion in 2021, and it's forecasted to reach $13.3 billion by 2033. A solid growth trajectory.
And the key drivers.
You're looking mainly at Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and particularly the UAE.
The UAE often comes up in these kinds of development discussions.
It does. And its growth rate here is notably high, over 6.1% CAGR. This isn't just general building. It seems intrinsically linked to their really ambitious projects.
Like the smart cities and...
Exactly. Smart city developments, all the luxury real estate, massive tourism infrastructure. These kinds of projects often demand, the latest high security, aesthetically advanced door hardware.
Yeah, cutting-edge stuff. It's fascinating how a market like this, door accessories, truly reflects the specific ambitions and development style of a region.
It really does. You also see steady gains from Egypt, Qatar, and the rest of the Middle East, too.
All right, and finally, let's turn to Africa. What's the picture there?
Africa is also on a significant upward path, projected to grow from about $5.4 billion in 2021 to over $10 billion by 2033.
So nearly doubling there as well.
Pretty much. South Africa is the continent's leader in this sector, as you might expect. Its market is expected to more than double, hitting over $4.4 billion.
And any other standouts?
Nigeria is definitely notable. Its market is also expected to almost double, nearing $1.5 billion by 2033.
So it seems the overall narrative across all these emerging regions, Asia Pacific, South America, the Middle East, Africa, is pretty clear, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's this massive wave of urbanization, huge infrastructure development efforts, a growing middle class, all directly feeding this really robust market for door accessories.
It's just a fundamental component.
That's right. You need new buildings, homes, offices, public spaces, and that directly translates into demand for the products. It's fundamental to growth and modernization everywhere.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up, recap the big picture for you listening. It seems crystal clear that this global door accessories market, maybe surprisingly, is on a path of really consistent, really strong growth.
Hmm.
It's not some weird niche thing. It's actually a direct reflection of the worldwide construction boom and this relentless pace of urban development.
And it's fascinating, I think, to see the two engines driving it. On one hand, you have the emerging economies, Asia, South America, Africa, the Middle East, offering huge expansion potential with all the new
Right,
building.
the sheer volume.
Yeah, but then you also have the mature markets, North America and Europe. They keep demand strong through constant renovation, replacement cycles, and importantly, innovation within their existing buildings.
So that provides a kind of stability.
Exactly. Remarkable stability for the whole sector.
It certainly seems that way. Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. Given this immense value, this really consistent growth we've just talked about, what kind of hidden innovations, maybe shifts in design or security, could be shaping the future of door accessories?
Good question.
Could they become far more than just, what meets the eye? Are we heading towards widespread biometric access in every home? Or maybe door systems that do more like actively monitor air quality or even a building structural integrity?
It's definitely moving beyond just mechanical locks and handles.
For sure. Something to maybe ponder next time you reach for a doorknob.
Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something you probably touch every single day, maybe without even thinking about it.
Hmm.
The global door accessories market. Now, you might be thinking, door accessories, really? How deep can we go? But here's the interesting thing. These, well, seemingly subtle bits and pieces are actually indicators for some huge global shifts. We're talking construction, design, even tech.
Exactly. It's so easy to just dismiss hinges, handles, closers
Yeah.
as just, well, functional necessities. But if you actually look closer, you find this market kind of quiet on the surface, has some really significant dynamics underneath. It's surprisingly active, really. A good barometer for economic health, evolving lifestyles, all sorts of things.
Right. So our mission today is to really get under the hood of this vibrant, maybe often overlooked industry. We're going to try and pull out the major drivers pushing it forward, the big challenges holding it back, and some genuinely exciting trends that are shaping where it's headed. Think of this as your shortcut, maybe, to understanding what really makes this market tick. Hopefully give you those aha moments you weren't expecting from, the door handle.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump right in. What's really swinging the door open for growth? When we talk drivers, the obvious one is always new construction, right?
Right. That's the baseline.
But what's maybe less obvious and quite fascinating
Yeah.
is how shifts in how we live, like, say, the rise of micro-apartments or co-living spaces globally, how that's creating totally new demands for, like, compact, multifunctional hardware.
Absolutely. You're seeing that especially in dense urban areas and in emerging economies where urbanization is just booming. Developers aren't just building more, they're building differently. Smarter spaces. And that means the door accessories, they need to be incredibly efficient, sometimes doing double duty, maybe hiding storage or even folding away somehow. It's pushing innovation in ways that, traditional single-family home construction maybe never did. And beyond that, just the sheer volume of new commercial buildings and logistics centers, data hubs, that creates this huge base demand for really robust industrial-grade hardware.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for you listening at home and for designers too. It's not just about making it work anymore, is it?
Not at all.
We're seeing this pretty profound shift in what consumers are prioritizing. It's design and advanced functionality. It's not enough for a handle just to open the door. What are people really looking for now?
Well, people are actively looking for products that fit a certain aesthetic, that tell a story maybe, integrate seamlessly. We're seeing a huge demand spike for premium finishes. Things like brushed brass, matte black are everywhere now, and these sleek minimalist shapes. But it's also about what you don't notice, right? Like the sound. Functional extras like noise reduction, anti-slam features, those are almost becoming standard expectations, not luxuries. So the market for customized, really stylish hardware is just booming, especially in, say, luxury homes or those high-end boutique hotels and shops where the hardware itself is part of the design statement.
And speaking of advanced functionality, we absolutely have to talk about tech. Smart integration. It feels like smart homes have gone from niche to mainstream almost overnight. How's that directly impacting door accessories?
Oh, it's created a whole new category, basically, a massive one. And the technical leap here It's not just about, adding Wi-Fi. It's about miniaturization, power, connectivity. Think about fitting complex biometric scanners or secure wireless chips into a sleek door handle, often running on batteries that need to last for ages. That's a real engineering challenge. But manufacturers are cracking it.
Hmm.
And that's led to this significant uptick in demand for automation compatible stuff. We're seeing biometric access becoming more common, smart locks that tie into your whole home security system, motion sensor closers, doors you can control remotely. These are moving from, high-end gadgets to really fast-growing segments. And these tech upgrades, they're not just for convenience, right? They genuinely improve building security
Yeah.
and even energy efficiency, making sure doors actually close properly. So it links this market directly to those broader trends around smart living and sustainability.
Right. But it can't all be smooth sailing. For all these cool advancements, what are some of the biggest headwinds, the challenges companies in this space are dealing with?
Well, yeah, one of their really pressing concerns is the cost of raw materials. It's constantly fluctuating. We're talking steel, aluminum, zinc alloy, the basics. But even small shifts in things like copper prices, which is crucial for the wiring in smart locks, that can create significant hurdles. Especially if you're a small or medium-sized manufacturer, that constant volatility makes it incredibly tough to keep profit margins stable, to offer consistent pricing. It really impacts your ability to plan long-term or invest in R&D.
That makes sense. And then there's the issue of, well, everything looking the same at the budget end. Low product differentiation, particularly in that mass market segment. It feels like, you take the brand name off and a lot of basic hinges or handles are pretty much identical. What's the real impact of that?
You've hit on a classic economic challenge there. Commoditization. It's a big one. When the differences in design or performance between brand A and brand B are frankly negligible for basic accessories, the product just becomes a commodity. And when that happens, what's left to compete on? Price. So it leads inevitably to these fierce price wars, razors and margins, and it really weakens brand loyalty. Why stick with one brand if the cheapest one does the same job? It can create this sort of race to the bottom, which isn't great because it can stifle investment in maybe better materials or slightly improved features, even in that budget segment.
Okay, and another practical hurdle I can imagine, especially if you're thinking about, say, renovating an older house
Yeah.
installation and compatibility issues. Is it actually hard for the average person to just swap out a door handle?
It definitely can be, yeah. Particularly with the more advanced stuff. Many accessories, especially those smart locks or high security mechanisms, they really need professional installation. You want to make sure they work correctly and securely. And compatibility, that's a huge barrier sometimes. If you've got an older door, maybe a custom-made one, finding a modern handle or lock set that fits without needing major modifications, it can be a real headache. So that definitely discourages the DIY market to some extent. And it limits growth in renovation and retrofit projects, which, could otherwise be a really massive area for this industry. These practical issues can really slow down how widely these things get adopted.
Hmm. Yet, despite those challenges, this industry isn't just, sitting back. We're actually seeing some really interesting, innovative trends emerging, things that signal a shift towards, say, sustainability and more unique designs.
Absolutely. And that's the exciting part. One of the most encouraging trends, I think, is the push towards recyclable and environmentally friendly materials. You have more eco-conscious consumers now, and they're actively driving manufacturers to respond. They want products that aren't just built to last, but are also, green certified. So we're seeing more stuff made from recycled aluminum, maybe even innovative bioplastics, products designed to be corrosion resistant for longer life, made using sustainable practices. It's a great evolution, really appeals to that growing group of environmentally aware buyers.
And on the look side of things, there seems to be this growing appetite for custom, almost designer hardware,
Yeah.
stuff that really pushes the boundaries. What kind of designs are popping up that maybe weren't common a few years back?
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how this high-end design segment kind of elevates the perception of the whole industry. You've got interior designers, architects really pushing the envelope now. They're working with manufacturers on premium collections, things with bespoke engravings, really luxurious finishes like, say, hand-patinated bronze, or curated design themes that match a whole building's aesthetic. Imagine like a custom designed door pole that's basically a piece of sculpture in a fancy hotel lobby. These offerings cater especially well to that high-end market where, honestly, the visual appeal carries almost as much weight as the durability. It turns a purely functional item into, well, sometimes a work of art.
Okay, and finally, let's talk about how people actually buy this stuff. The rise of e-commerce, omni-channel distribution. How is that really changing things? Because it seems like a tricky product to just click and buy online.
You'd think so, but it's absolutely revolutionizing it. While, yeah, maybe you want to touch and feel a heavy door handle, digital tools are getting really good at bridging that gap. We're seeing really sophisticated online customization tools. You pick your finish, your style, see it rendered instantly. Interactive 3D visualizations that let you sort of virtually try on a handle on a picture of your actual door. And this omni-channel approach, meaning you can research online, maybe visit a showroom, then buy it via an app, and it all feels connected. That's not just broadening customer reach massively, it's also shaping this whole new era of convenience-driven buying behavior for you, the consumer. It's making what used to be quite complex choices much, much more accessible.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it seems pretty clear the global lure accessories market is in a really dynamic phase. Lots of transformation happening. It's definitely being supported by that ongoing infrastructure growth, some genuinely fascinating innovation, and these constantly shifting consumer tastes look set for continued expansion, really.
Mhm. However, the crucial challenges are definitely still there for businesses. Navigating those tricky raw material prices, figuring out the installation complexities, especially with smart tech, and just keeping up with evolving customer expectations from the budget end right up to luxury, that's the balancing act.
Right. And maybe as you go about your day-to-day, here's a final thought to chew on. How does this seemingly small, often ignored market actually mirror these huge global shifts we're seeing in technology and environmental awareness and our changing desires for both pure function and real beauty in everyday objects? Next time you reach for a door handle, what will you notice? What story might that little piece of hardware be telling?